What can I say to describe Bojack Horseman? As a show, as art, as a character study, as everything that it is, there are no words. It just saw the release of its final few episodes of season 6, the final episodes of the entire show. And it was a fantastic ending. I binged it all in one night as soon as it came out. This is one of my favorite and most personal shows I've ever watched in my entire life. It deserves all the respect in the world. I have an entire script written about it, written why I love it, written why I love all the characters. But I'm not going to get into that. I decided to scratch that. I'm going to talk about the philosophy of Bojack and all of its characters. And I'm kind of making this up as I go, so thanks for watching. So if you don't know what this show is, watch it. Or you might be a little lost here. Trust me, it's worth a watch. It's my favorite show of all time. I think it just passed Breaking Bad. I think it did. I think that ending absolutely killed it. I think there's so much to this show, and there's so many layers, there's so much depth. It's hard to even begin. But I'm going to begin where this show begins, with Bojack himself. Welcome to the philosophy of Bojack Horseman. So there's so many themes and so many messages being thrown across this show, from character to character, from situation to situation. But one thing I constantly connect Bojack to, one thing that I think is overarching theme and claim and purpose in this show, is everyone is a human, even a horse. What I mean by that is, no one's perfect. The TV stars we see on a nightly basis, TV stars we see in all our shows, all our favorite shows, from all the old sitcoms to all the old Western shows to all the old everything. No one is what they seem. Everyone is human. No one is special. Now, there's two ways to take this. You can see it as depressing, or, as I think the point of the show, you're supposed to see it as hopeful. You can see it however you want. I'm not telling you how to see it. I'm just saying, I think the show is urging you to be hopeful. I think that's the beauty behind it. If no one is special, that means everyone is special. It's that kind of philosophy that this show brings out. It brings out so much. People make mistakes. Even the brightest people make mistakes. Even the most successful people on planet Earth. Even these sitcom actors who pretend every night that a problem can be solved in 30 minutes of runtime. They are not perfect. No one is. Even if their characters they portray are perfect human beings, no one is perfect. It also reveals themes of the only person in control of your destiny is yourself. And he knows this better than anyone, because he makes a lot of mistakes. He learns this firsthand, and we learn it through his experience. He is a vessel in some sort of way to us. He has dreams, he has aspirations, and he gets most of them. He gets a Golden Globe. He gets nominated and no spoilers, he kind of gets nominated for an Oscar. He's not happy. He never gets happy. He thinks he is a broken person. He's not, though. He's a human person. That's the thing. On a little side note, it also brings up questions like, is there a God? Do we have free will? Things like this. It's just kind of more in the background. It's not a personal character philosophy or anything. It just brings it up. He brings it up in a few episodes, especially the darker ones towards the end of the season. Season 5, for example, I think does it really well, and especially the second to last episode on season 6. Oh my God. My God, is that one of the most terrifying episodes and saddening episodes, man. Oh my God. Just getting to that episode was worth watching this entire show. I swear to you. But anyway, side note aside. Side note aside. That's Bojack. That's the philosophy of him. And we're not stopping there. Don't worry, this video is going to be extra long. We're going to go into other characters' philosophy as well, because I think 5 main types of characters here. You got the Bojack, you got the Diane, you got the Princess Carolyn, you got the Todd, and you got the Peanut Butter. Now you can combine kind of Diane and Bojack, and you can kind of combine Todd and Mr. Peanut Butter. But I think there are several differences between all five of them, right, that warrant their own discussion. And so here I'm going to be talking about Diane next. Diane enters this show as a shy, sarcastic, kind of witty, aspiring writer in LA who took all of her chances, took all of her chips, moved to LA, and followed her dreams. And she's shy and nervous and anxious as anyone else would be in her situation, but she tries to make the most of it for the moment. She ends the show by being self-confident, self-willing, cool. She becomes cool in a lot of ways. She wants to become cool half the show, and she finally, I think, learns the meaning of cool, learns the meaning of happiness because she's depressed a lot. She learns how to love herself. Again, sounds cringy, and I'm going to hate listening back to it, but it's true. She becomes self-loving instead of self-loathing. That's her character arc, and it's written so well and done so perfectly, and her voice acting is so perfect. Alison Brie, oh my god, she sounds great. I love her voice. But that's the point. I think her main philosophy and themes in this show is self-confidence is key. Liking who you are is the most important thing, because no one can take it away from you. That's where I think her and Bojack kind of are similar. They do care about people's opinions of themselves, but learn to realize, Bojack a little bit later than Diane, that their self-opinion is more important than anything else. She's great, and I love her. And her philosophy. I think it rings true to a lot of people, almost everyone. I think that's what the point is. It's about everyone, and about this one person specifically is supposed to represent almost all people like her. Any shy, anxious people, anyone struggling with their self-image or self-confidence, she is an inspiration to them. Even though none of those people would probably ever watch this show, except me, but she is really, really, really the heart, I think, of this show. Like, Bojack is the body, she's the heart. You know what I mean? Princess Carolyn is next here. I think her main theme, main arc of the story, main arc of this entire show is that work isn't everything. But passion, drive, and the people you meet along the way are everything. The friendships you build, the people you meet, the people you connect with, and your passion and drive to help as many people, many as your friends, many as your clients as you can achieve their dreams. You are achieving your dream by doing that. As a kid, she idolized Amelia Earhart in one of my favorite episodes of all time. I believe it's in season 5, but it's the Princess Carolyn episode where she tries to adopt a baby back in her hometown. And this is really finally delves into her character more, her backstory, because you never really got it at this point in the show. Maybe it was season 4. But you really learn what makes her tick, why she is the way she is, why she's such a hard worker, why she believes she'll never have a family, why she believes she's not ready for a relationship, why she loves the comfort zone of her work. And from that episode on to the next, she finally realizes she has a self-epitome and grows and changes into believing that her work isn't everything, but the things it brings her does mean a lot to her and does actually do a lot of good for her. She basically says, you put your mind to anything, you can do it, but don't kill yourself while you're doing it. You still need those human interactions, those human connections that really do make us who we are to become a full person. She's amazing. Everyone's amazing. Talk about amazing writing in this show. Oh my god. She's great. She deserves her entire own show, if you ask me. I love her. Next is Todd. Now, Todd is a little more... He's not as complex. He is very complex as a character, I think. But compared to Bojack, who has so much mental mind games going on with him at all times, Todd is kind of a little lacking. Todd's kind of, at first anyways, the comic relief. He's the guy sleeping on Bojack's couch just because he's never left his house ever. So it's like, okay, this guy's just here. But his kind of theme and his way to look at life is living life to the fullest, jumping into things without even realizing what they are. That's not a great life lesson, but you know what I mean? Taking risks, taking chances, jumping off that cliff, even though you don't know if you're going to make it or not. He does that almost every episode. He does it in every season. He has rock opera. He has PB Livin'. He has the amusement park at one point. I mean, he has apps. He ruins all of his ideas. He never has a successful one that actually lasts more than like a few episodes is his thing. He always calls them Todd shenanigans. That's a perfect word for him. That should be in the dictionary at this point for Todd shenanigans. Just doing something because you want to do it, you have an interest in it and a passion for it, and doing it because what else are you gonna do? You're gonna do something you don't want to do? He just does whatever he wants. He even falls into fucking Scientology at one point. He's a stoner type of guy who thinks his actions don't matter, not in a bad way. He thinks his actions, no matter what he does, he will land on his feet. Same with Princess Carolyn a little bit, because she's a cat, and she always lands on her feet as well. And they do get along pretty well by the end there. But Todd, he also comes from a little bit of a messed up past, and he has a lot of reasons for the way he's so spaced out and so not like this. For example, he didn't even know his own sexuality until he was like 25. I mean, this guy's been through a lot. He knows what he's doing, and what he's doing is not knowing what he's doing. And he's perfectly happy doing that. And that's his own way of happiness. And I think this entire show, I'm not going to wrap it up yet, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek real quick. This entire show is about finding your happiness, your true happiness. Every character tries their best to do it. And by the end of it, some succeed and some don't. It's beautiful. It's unbelievably well written. It's true to life. It's realistic. It's insane. It's funny in all the worst ways, and it's dark in all the best ways. It's hard not to love it. Next is Mr. Peanut Butter, also known as the Ultimate Optimist. Now, his theme is also completely about happiness, finding his happiness. He finds his happiness. Everyone loves him. He is the man's man celebrity, okay? Every family loves him. He was on a show like Bojack Horseman, except now he's not an alcoholic. He's still an actor. He hosts game shows. He does kind of whatever he wants. He's kind of like Todd in that sense. He kind of just floats around. But his optimism is what keeps him in there. And the thing is, he's not all optimistic. He puts on an optimistic persona, but he's not always like that. He gets actually pissed and angry and pessimistic about certain things, especially his relationship with Diane, that he completely grows and changes as a character as it goes on. Starts doubting himself, starts doubting his positive attitude, starts realizing his positive attitude can have negative effects. I mean, the amount that this guy goes through with his own personal image is almost just the same as Diane. They're all so complex. He learns to love himself. He learns to hate himself, which is even harder for him to do. He learns to realize the flaws he has in him for liking younger women with fucking pickles at the end there. I mean, he learns a lot. He goes through a lot. And although he seems like the dumb kind of character, he is just as deep as anyone else. And that's his philosophy. His philosophy is happiness isn't just putting on a face. Happiness has to come from within. This show is deeper than you can ever imagine. Deeper than I can probably put into words. I tried my best. Again, not really a script here. I'm kind of just going off what I remember. I've seen this show all the way through about 2 times, minus the last season that just came out. I've only watched that one so far. I'll watch it again though soon. I'm getting to it. But there's so much to this show. And I just went through the philosophies of the characters. Not even talking about the philosophies of the other side characters, like Penny, like Hollyhock, like any of these people that are affected by their actions, how they feel about it. There's so much to this show. You just have to watch it. You have to watch it. It's art. This show is art. This is a Picasso painting in front of us. that not a lot of people know about. It's funny. Okay? It's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. It has made me crack up, and I think of lines constantly. Like, I mean, come on, how many? Hey, Erica! You know, I've said that so many times. I've said, what is this, a crossover episode? There's so many. Like Todd Shenanigans, I said should be in the dictionary. This show is hilarious. It's a comedy first. Okay, don't go expecting, oh, only deep themes, blah, 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 blah. I was just highlighting the themes that I personally noticed between all the characters. This show says a lot about show business, shows a lot about humanity, shows a lot about media, shows a lot about how we perceive people, how we put people on higher pedestals, shows a lot about a lot of things in only 6 seasons of like 12 episodes each, 20 minutes long. It shows more than any show has ever shown before. And in the funniest ways possible. This show is special. This show is something special. A show like this does not happen very often. A show like this is like a show like Breaking Bad, or a show like fucking I don't even know. There is no show like this. This show is completely one of its kind. Go watch it, please, all the way through. Trust me, you won't regret it. I've seen it so many times. If there's one recommendation you ever take away from this thing that I'm doing, it's this show. It deserves it. You deserve it. Everyone deserves it. It's art. Watch it. Thanks for watching. Oh, jeez.